The CXC communication team brings you
CXC 2018 Year in Review. I am Cleveland Sam.
And I'm Andrea Austin.
And we will take you through the journey that was 2018. So, Andrea, 2018 was really a good and interesting year for CXC in more ways than one.
It can be described as the year of the stakeholder engagements.
Yeah, there are so many of those, as well as the year when e-testing came of age. So, let's start with January. While January is generally a slow month for most people, for about 30,000 candidates, it means examinations. Yes, CXC offers examinations in January for 13 CXC subjects as a supplemental to the May-June sit-in of the previous year. Andrea, what were the highlights in January?
Well, there was an increase in the number of candidates taking the CXC January examinations via e-testing in 2018. This year, 709 candidates took the examinations using the e-testing option, compared to 500 candidates who took the January CXC sitting last year via e-testing. Candidates came from Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Belize, Cayman Islands, Dominica, Grenada, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia. Results from the January examinations are released in late February or early March. What are some of the highlights in February, Cleveland?
Well, in February, the number of candidates who were absent for the January examination was revealed, and the Deputy Chair, Dr. Marcia Potter, expressed significant concern for this problem.
Also in February, the then Barbados Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Frondo Stewart, signed 2 agreements at the 29th Intersessional Meeting of CARICOM Heads of Government at the Marriott Hotel Port-au-Prince in Haiti. One of those agreements was the revised agreement establishing the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC.
The revised agreement establishing CXC seeks to update the Council's legal structure in light of subsequent organizational practices, recent market developments, and current needs, with particular emphasis on accommodating requests from additional territories and institutions to join or otherwise participate in CXC. So, Andrea, what really is happening here is that CXC is expanding.
Yes, it is, and it's very timely. CXC has been around for over 40 years. So in March, history, the subject of history and its decline in the Caribbean secondary schools was a topic of discussion on an episode of Region Talk on UE TV. The CXC produced program features UE Pro Vice Chancellor Professor Alan Cobley, Chairman of the CXC Task Force on History, and Miss Judith Gill, Teacher of History at Combermere School in Barbados. The program speaks about some of the findings and recommendations in the task force report and about possible strategies for revitalizing interest in history.
Yeah, this year history has really received a lot of attention at CXC. So we move to April. And Friday 20th April 2018 was forever embedded in the history of CXC as the day the Council launched its first customer service charter. The charter was launched during a brief but engaging ceremony held at CXC headquarters in Barbados and streamed live to the world on Facebook and live stream.
Also in April, CXC, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology in Antigua and Barbuda, hosted a series of stakeholder engagements on the 11th and 12th of April. The response to the engagements was very positive and welcoming. The CXC team met with the Chamber of Industry and Commerce and the Employers Federation, third formers and their parents, and fifth formers and their parents.
Yeah, Andrea, I was part of that team along with Dr. James Young, and I would say that those engagements in Antigua were really interesting. But we moved to June, and the Caribbean Examinations Council made some key appointments to senior posts effective June and July 1st, 2018. These included Dr. Wayne Wesley as Director of Operations, Mrs. Sharon Armstrong-Muller, Director of Corporate Services, Mr. Nicholas Rock, Senior Manager, Information Systems Division, and Ms. Susan McAllister, Manager in the Examinations Development and Production Division.
CXC also hosted a summer internship program. We invited 9 students from tertiary education institutions to participate in our 10-week summer internship program. The students were challenged to apply their academic knowledge to real-world working situations in their respective CXC department to which they were assigned. The students also got an opportunity to plan and carry out a corporate social responsibility project. They decided on providing school supplies to a church located close to headquarters.
That's a really good program. I actually really like the whole idea of internships, as I benefited a lot from it in my years in high school.
And we had some really bright young people.
Indeed, and I hope that this is something CXC will continue and other corporate citizens will also do the same.
Yeah.
Also in June, the Caribbean Examinations Council sponsored the first panel discussion in the 2018 Association of Caribbean Historians Conference, which was held here in Barbados at the Cave Hill campus. The session, entitled Perspectives on the Future of Caribbean History, was chaired by Mrs. Norletier, manager at the Syllabus and Curriculum Division based at the Western Zone Department.
In July, the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, UCC, based in Jamaica, and the Caribbean Examinations Council entered into a unique partnership agreement. Under the partnership agreement, the UCC will offer a wide range of CXC associate degrees, and that started in September 2018.
All right. So normally August is a very busy month here, Andrea.
It sure is.
And this year it was even busier than usual. Where do we start?
The beautiful, lush campus of St. George's University in Grenada was the backdrop for the 2018 ceremony to announce the performance of candidates in the various examinations in the May-June sitting. The results were presented by Mr. Alton McPherson, who's a senior manager acting in the Examinations Development and Production Division.
Yeah, we cannot say how grateful we were to the folks at St. George's University for providing such an awesome facility for us to use to present the results there in August. Also in August, a CXC team comprising Mr. Glenroy Cumberbatch, the Registrar and Chief Executive Officer, Pro-Registrar Dr. Carol Granston, and the Director of Corporate Services, Mrs. Sharon Armstrong-Muller, traveled to Lesotho, Southern Africa, during the week of 13th to 17th August to participate in meetings with the Examinations Council of Lesotho. The visit was also to advance the discussions around the Memorandum of Understanding that was initially signed in 2015.
In that month, Dominica also became the first beneficiary of CXC's thrust to forge closer working relationships with private educational institutions offering CXC qualifications. So on Wednesday, 15th and Thursday, the 16th of August, CXC partnered with 3 private institutions in the Nature Isle to host the Private Education Institutions Fair.
Andrea, so I want to give you kudos for this as well, because you and I started working on this a long time ago, and it was really good to see one of these fairs actually come to fruition. And I hope that in the coming years that we'll be able to do the ones in Guyana and in Barbados and Jamaica and so on.
Absolutely.
Yes. And September, always a month to remember, but this year there was no hurricanes, which is really, really good.
We're thankful for that.
Thankful for that. And we started in September with the Learning Hub. So in September, CXC moved one step closer to developing the revolutionary tool tailor-made for the Caribbean examination and education market, the CXC Learning Hub. CXC announced that it had selected 1,000 learners and teachers from 7 territories to commence testing of the Learning Hub on Monday, 1st October.
There were more stakeholder engagements in the month of September, and CXC officers were busy meeting with stakeholders across the region as they took the message to parents and 3rd and 5th form students in Anguilla, British Virgin Islands, St. Lucia, and Trinidad and Tobago.
Right, and still with engagement, CXC hosted its first engagement with employers from across the region on Friday, 29th September at its headquarters in Barbados. The one-day meeting was attended by HR professionals from government, human resource and personal administration departments and the private sector, mainly drawn from the employers' federations.
CXC also featured the I Will marketing campaign this year. And while the marketing campaign started early in the year, it got into full swing in September with focus on exam and subject options, support resources, and private candidate registration. This year's campaign, again themed I Will, focused on the candidates' commitment to reaching their goals through education. And once again, it was spread throughout various media, but there was an overwhelmingly positive response on our social media platforms.
Wow, that was a really busy month of September.
Yes, it was.
And we look forward to October now. What happened in October? So on Wednesday, 31st October 2018, some 24,000 candidates who sat the May-June 2018 examinations began receiving credentials to their e-certificates issued on blockchain technology. This first group served as a pilot group as CXC seeks electronic alternatives to provide a more efficient delivery of qualifications in the future.
We also learned that for the second time in 4 years, a student from the St. Joseph's Academy in Antigua and Barbuda was announced the most outstanding candidate overall in the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC. Keandre Herbert received grade 1s in 20 subjects. A student from Queen's College in Guyana was this year's winner of the Dennis Irvin Award, the symbol of academic excellence in the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE. Adila Ali received grade 1s in 14 units and grade 2 in 1 unit. Well done, guys.
Well done. Absolutely amazing. 20 grade 1s
Wow.
at one sitting. 14 CAPE units at grade 1s at one sitting. That is
Awesome
really,
stuff.
really awesome stuff.
Yes.
All right, so we move into November. And during November, the Examination Services Unit hosted several engagements with chiefs and assistant chief examiners across the region. Meetings were held in Barbados, Jamaica, Guyana, and Trinidad and Tobago.
So here we are, and it's December. All was dominated by the government's meetings and the regional top awards, and of course, the CXC end-of-year staff appreciation function.
Indeed, it's for me, it is always a privilege to be able to attend the regional top awards function and be with the regional top award. I think they help to keep me young. So, as Andrea said, December was all about the 50th council meeting and regional top award ceremony held in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. St. Vincent and the Grenadines was an awesome time for the 15 regional top awardees. They visited the beautiful Grenadine island of Bequia and interacted with students from 2 high schools there, paid courtesy calls on VIPs in the country, spent an afternoon on Young Island doing a sip and paint. They toured Fort Charlotte and the Botanical Gardens, Kingstown, and were guests of honor at a student forum with secondary school students from across the island.
As for the award ceremony, it was a wonderful evening of speeches interwoven with well-crafted entertainment, including dance, instrumental music by a 5-member band, and then by a violin quartet. And then the one and only Rodney Small on steel pan.
The meetings of SEC and Council were held at the NIS Conference Center. You can check out the CXC website or the communique from the meetings on CXC's Facebook page for lots of photographs and videos from the meetings and the ceremony.
What a year it's been, Sam.
It is indeed has been a very interesting year for CXC, and as we said, I think the highlight really was the expansion of e-testing and the number of stakeholder engagements that we would have hosted during the year.
Absolutely. On behalf of the Registrar and staff of the Caribbean Examinations Council,
thank you for joining us, and we wish you a happy holidays and a prosperous 2019.